Afrikan tähti or Afrikas stjärna, meaning the Star of Africa, is a Finnish board game designed by Kari Mannerla originally in 1951. It has been one of the most popular board games in both Finland and Sweden for decades. The game was first published in 1951, with a revision to the rules made in 2005 concerning sea travel within game. The publishing rights are held by the Pellico Company. Afrikan tähti is set in colonial Africa, with the object being to find and retrieve the famous diamond, the Star of Africa, which the game is named after. Rules: Afrikan tähti is a race between several players. The minimum is 2 players, and the maximum is theoretically unlimited. Although with more than 5 or 6 players, the game starts to become unplayable, due to too long gaming turns and insufficient resources. The board covers the continent of Africa, with famous cities marked as big red circles, and with routes consisting of small black circles connecting them. Players can start from either Cairo, Egypt or from Tangiers, Morocco, whichever they want. The game uses a dice and play money. Notes in the values £100, £500 and £1,000 are supplied. Also included is a series of circular tokens, 1 token for each city. The tokens are not matched with specific cities, only their number is the same. Tokens include blank tokens, gemstones. There are 3 different gems: rubies, emeralds and topazes, robbers, horseshoes, the Star of Africa itself. This is the only unique token in the game. Game start: at the start of the game, all tokens are turned face down and shuffled, then distributed randomly at the cities, with 1 token at each city. At this point, no player knows which token is in which city. Each player is given £300 as starting money and their character is placed in Cairo or Tangiers according to their preference. Game rounds: on their turn, each player throws the die, and moves the given number of steps along the routes. If they reach a city with its token still present, they have 3 options. Continue as normal. Buy the token. This costs £100. Stay in the city. On the following turns, the player may try to win the token by throwing the die, instead of moving normally. On a 4, 5 or 6, the token is won. Stopping short at a city is allowed. If the player buys or wins the token, it is flipped over. The player acts according to the revealed token as follows. Blank token. Nothing happens. Gemstone. The gemstone is immediately sold for cash. Rubies are worth £1,000, emeralds £500 and topazes £300. Robber. The player immediately loses all their money. Horseshoe. Acts as a substitute for the Star of Africa, but only after the star has been found. Star of Africa. Finding this is the goal of the game. Taking it back to either Cairo or Tangiers wins the game. Before the Star of Africa has been found, horseshoes are useless and are discarded. After the famous diamond has been found, however, they become effective substitutes for it. Taking a horseshoe to Cairo or Tangiers when another player has the Star of Africa wins the game. Travel. There are 3 different forms of travel available. On foot. This moves on the regular routes and is free of charge. By aeroplane. Aeroplane routes connect some of the cities directly with each other. Traveling by aeroplane costs £300 and takes the player directly to the adjacent city. By ship. Ship routes are effectively similar to foot routes, but they are on the sea. Boarding a ship costs £100, after which the player may throw the die to determine how many steps they can take on the sea route. Unlike traveling by foot, players cannot choose to pass by cities. If a player touches a city, they have to end their turn and pay another £100 to take the boat back. According to the 2005 rule revision, players with no money can also travel by sea, but only a maximum of 2 steps at a time. The islands Madagascar and St. Helena are only reachable by aeroplane or ship. Canary Islands are only reachable by ship. Special places. Some cities or other places on the board have special rules. In Slave Coast, getting a blank token causes the player to be enslaved and sold at the slave market. They may only proceed after 3 turns have passed without their participation. In Gold Coast, the value of gemstones is doubled. The first player to reach Cape Town is awarded £500. There is one step in Sahara where the player is ambushed by Bedouins and can only proceed after rolling 1 or 2. There are 2 steps in the sea near the island of St. Helena where the player's ship will be raided by pirates and the player can only proceed after rolling 1 or 2. Video game version. Afrikan tähti was made into a video game for the Commodore 64 in 1985 by Otso Parkarainen and Jari Heikkinen, who were given permission to make the game. From Kari Mannerla. The game was published by Amasoft and produced by Juko Rikkonen. Programming the game took roughly 2 months. It was made with help of some PROMAL source code which the creators got from Amasoft. In other countries, the game was launched in Sweden in the 1970s by Algarve, under the name of Den Forsvunna Diamanten. In Denmark, a variant of the game with slightly different rules is marketed by Brio. In Norway, the game has been sold under the name of Den Forsvunna Diamanten for a few decades, and is currently marketed by Egmont.